Hi, I'm Robbie Rodriguez. I'm a comic artist. Most currently, I'm known for co-creating Spider-Gwen for Marvel Comics. I got started, pretty much I've been drawing all my life. I always knew I wanted to do some type of storytelling. Of course, I grew up in like pop culture. I just grew up on like sci-fi movies and horror movies and like westerns and also 1920s like serials and like Buster Keaton shorts, like Andy Warhols and like stuff like that. You know, the avant-garde or like pop art type stuff. It's kind of treated like hip hop. It's basically like I've been influenced by so many aspects. I'm just gonna take little samples here and here and try to make a completely new sound, which essentially became my style type of thing. So it's not so much like I'm interested in one thing. I'm interested in everything. You know, when like I'm constantly telling people, yeah, I drew comic books, and I'm like, that's a weird job. I know the stigma's gone now a bit. People more embrace like the fact that like I do comic books, and I think it's a really cool thing, especially with the influence of the comics into the mainstream now, where it's actually embraced more as a literary like piece of work now. Usually there's a lot of collaboration. Like what starts it out, especially for Spider-Gwen, for example, usually starts out with a phone call with the writer, Jason Latour, and he has a set agenda where he wants to go with the story and whatnot, and what kind of spitball ideas. I'll, give my take of what a scene should be like, he'll give my take, and we'll go back and forth and collaborate on that way. From there, he'll give me a script, which it can be anything from like loose like bullet points or with actual dialogue or very more descriptive if he really wants to sell a particular scene. From that, like anything, like I just kind of break down scene by scene, make sure my camera rights are exactly to what I want it, set the mood and pacing, like in framing and blocking on all these shots. Make sure the dialogue works, like flows pretty well with these exact shots. Draw that, finish it. Like drawing is actually like the last and like least important aspect to it. It's all the building blocks of like constructing that scene and make sure that scene works just right. But the main thing is also like me getting inside these character heads and make sure I know exactly where they're going to sell these little moments that's in the script, to amplify this particular scene. It's kind of like in weird ways like method acting. Like I'm constantly like walking around my apartment like saying these lines with like gesturing and making little weird faces. My cat just looks at me odd. I've noticed through Spider-Gwen I've had a lot of female followings now, especially the audience is far greater female than actually like the male readers. I think the greatest aspect which truly like got to me was when I see this little girl like rated from like anywhere from like 4 to like 6-year-old, and I'm like, this is my first comic book and I really like this, and thank you for having like a strong female protagonist type thing. And I was like, I was like, it's very cool that I actually touched an audience or actually a generation now. Like, they're probably gonna forget I do Spider-Gwen like 20 years from now, but the fact is I got them in the door. It's gonna make it's gonna help our industry later on in a way, and then I'm just glad to have like to help make like a female protagonist, that like a lot of generation can actually look up to like down the road. Dealing with collaboration, it's an interesting aspect. I mean, I was treated as especially like for my current work, I treat like working in a band. I mean, everyone has their part, but also like occasionally like Keith Richards and like what is going to want to take the lead. It was like, oh, dude, you're not the front man, back off. So it's very much the challenge is pretty much like dealing with the ego checks. That's a huge thing. But I think the thing that intrigues me a bit more is the fact that I'm dealing with someone who's not connected with my industry at all. It's completely different art or a different format and medium, and there's no telling what I would gain from that. There's no telling what that person would gain from my aspect to it. That challenge is actually like, or the fun part is actually, seeing if we can butt heads, but also our butting heads will actually make the work a lot stronger in a way, which hopefully that's what happens when you get two like passionate people like enough for like, it's like, all right, it's not just us pissing contests, it's just us trying to like collaborate to make sure this looks great type thing.
So who is more famous on Twitter, you or your cat?
Watson actually. He has more followers than I do. Yeah, Watson has far more followers than I do on my Instagram, and he has actually like, they get pissed off and I'm not posting more and more about him, and like it's like they're like, oh, the hell with that Spider-Gwen crap. It's like more cats.